What you are about to see actually happened last week. Unfortunately, I present to you the current leader of America.
This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. You have a chance to make decisions and reach agreements which will recognize the generations to come. You are in a position of extraordinary power. You can change forever the trajectory we are on. You can make a world that is once again full of hope, not fear. This is my message on earth to come. On behalf of We the 15, I ask you, please help us.
This is where we are. I'm Tyler Zed. Welcome to Zeducation. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to another episode of That Didn't Age Well. This is our longest running series here on Zeducation. And on this series, if you're new here, we highlight hypocritical and lying politicians, mainstream media, and celebrities and entertainers. And today, we have a lot of stuff to cover. A lot more Joe Biden, some very, very telling election results from last week that kind of shows that people are sick of certain things going on in the country right now. We have Elon Musk calling out the UN and much, much more. And real quick before we get to today's list, if you want to hear us talk about a lot of these things more in depth, head over to Zedcast on Apple or Spotify or any other podcasting app that you have. Download the podcast there and let us know what you think. But first, if you are ready for today's list of things that didn't age well, head down and like this video. And if you are new here, please make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Now, on to today's list of things that didn't age well. Number 10. As you saw from the intro, Joe Biden is increasingly having a hard time, it seems like. This is somebody representing the entire country on a world stage. This is how he's acting. Let's take a look at how he is now versus how he was a couple decades ago. Let's do a little compare and contrast here. Here's Joe Biden in the 70s.
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption, and I think implicit in the system is corruption, when in fact, whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, even from a small state like Delaware, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something.
And here's Joe Biden now.
They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do. But look.
He's all there, guys. Don't question his health. Don't do that, okay? Clearly, he's the same guy he was 40 years ago. Number 9. In 2021, inflation has gripped our country, and everything that you usually buy has probably gone up in price. But the White House on July 4th, they went to brag about saving you this. The cost of a 4th of July cookout in 2021 is down 16 cents from last year. Oh, by golly, they saved you 16 cents. Oh, we should all be so happy for Joe Biden and his regime. Look at that. They saved you 16 cents, which is an incredibly embarrassing thing to brag about, by the way. And I don't know if they were using all the generic and off-brand crap that is at your grocery store, but I don't know where this 16 cents was when we did our 4th of July cookout. But this did not age well because they can't brag about that for Thanksgiving, because this is what's happening now. Thanksgiving 2021 is shaping up to be the most expensive meal in the history of the holiday. Nearly every ingredient from the turkey to the after-dinner coffee is expected to cost more than ever. But hey guys, you have 16 cents to roll over into your Thanksgiving meal, okay? So you have some extra cash to buy stuff, offset those increased costs, right? Thank God we have Joe Biden and his very economic conscious regime in there. Number 8. This is one of my favorite things that didn't age well. in a long time. A couple weeks ago, this headline dropped. 2% of Elon Musk's wealth could solve world hunger, says director of UN Food Scarcity Organization. That's right, guys. We could solve world hunger. We pass these trillion-dollar bills all the time, and just a tiny little portion of that, about $6 billion, could solve world hunger. When obviously we know this is BS. Fact check. 2% of Elon Musk's wealth is $6 billion. In 2020, the UN World Food Program raised $8.4 billion. How come it didn't solve world hunger? I don't know. I wonder why. But Elon Musk went to call these people out at the UN. If the World Food Program can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. But it must be open source accounting so the public sees precisely how the money is spent. And then the World Food Program director said this. Elon Musk, headline not accurate. $6 billion will not solve world hunger, but it will prevent geopolitical instability, mass migration, and save 42 million people on the brink of starvation. An unprecedented crisis and a perfect storm due to COVID, conflict, climate crisis. What happened here? Asks Elon Musk. And what is Elon talking about? This headline that came out in 2015. Starving children as young as 9 forced to give UN officials oral sex to get food. There we go. The UN, the World Food Program. What happened there? And why is this not a massive story? All over the news to this day. It was barely even a story then, but this is crazy. So yes, World Food Program Director, what happened there? You already had billions of dollars. You didn't do anything with it, so what's going on here? Can you please answer? Number 7. Come on, man. Joe Biden's great, man. For number 7, we go to this beautiful progression of headlines on CNN. September before the 2020 election. Biden calls Trump what he is, a jobs loser. Flash forward to May 7th, 2021. Major disappointments. America added way fewer jobs than expected in April. Flash forward to October 8th, 2021. Another disappointment. U.S. economy adds only 194,000 jobs in September, which is mind-blowing because everything was shut down last year. How are you not adding more and more and more and more jobs every single month and missing expectations? So, what did you say about Trump, Biden? You're a jobs loser. You are a job preventer, seems like. Number 6. More hilarious double standards and hypocrisies. We go to this guy, this blue check mark on Twitter, where he said on October 30th, if you say, let's go Brandon, it means you're a coward. How dare you say that? But this same blue check mark, this is the kind of stuff he was saying under Trump. Hey, F you, Donald Trump. I can say that because despite what Trump thinks, this is still America. Have a great Independence Day. Great job. That is just amazing. It's like they don't even... The lack of self-awareness is amazing. And here's another example, as pointed out by Defiant L's on Twitter. October 30th, a Southwest airline pilot said, let's go Brandon, on the airplane's public speaker. Very unsettling to have a mega lunatic flying an aircraft with people's lives at stake. A pilot cursing the president of the United States is borderline terrorism. Southwest, please fire this man. And here is the same person last year. Can I get a F Donald Trump? So are you a terrorist too? Are you calling yourself a terrorist? And by the way, this guy didn't even say F Biden. He said, let's go Brandon. Making fun of the NBC reporter who clearly lied and said that a chant was let's go Brandon. So that's where this joke is. It's making fun of the media and their spin. But again, I want to go back to what you said. Are you calling yourself a terrorist? That's what I want to know. Because you did the same thing. Even worse, you were actually using vulgar language. Number 5. For this one, we go to a Republican or a conservative or a so-called one of those things. I don't know. But Joe Walsh, this is what he had to say under Trump. You know why Trump shouldn't get reelected? Because he's mean. Because he's a bully. Because he's a coward. He's just plain mean. And every congressional Republican knows it. But they're all afraid to say anything. And here is what Joe Walsh says today. A good place to start would be for people to not be so darn easily offended by things other people say. Again, it's the lack of self-awareness. It's astounding. It's hilarious, really. Number 4. The signs that Americans are very sick of what's going on are everywhere. Like these kinds of signs. 60% of Americans want Biden to pay more attention to inflation, and 57% want him to pay more attention to the US-Mexico border. A majority of Americans, they want better leadership. But this is what they are getting. On October 23rd, President Biden and I released the first ever national gender strategy. This is our vision for the future of our nation. One that is bold in strategy and one that this moment calls for. Yeah, guys, we got to get those pronouns right. Don't worry about the economy. Don't worry about inflation. Don't worry about whether you can feed your family a couple years from now if inflation gets too crazy. Don't worry about that. Get the pronouns right. Take it from the vice president. Number three, we go back to CNN in this absolutely beautiful interview that Brian Stelter had with journalist Barry Weiss. And here, before we get into it, is how it unfolded.
You write, there are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, you know, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. When we're not allowed to acknowledge that rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence, the world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing, the world has gone mad. When, in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race, and that is called progress rather than segregation, the world has gone mad. There are dozens of examples that I could share with you and with your viewers.
And you often say, you say
everyone
aloud.
Everyone sort of knows this, and
you say we're not allowed, we're not able.
between-
Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
Who are they? Who are they? I don't know. Who are you're saying these things, but who are they? You, Stelter. This was you when the Hunter Biden email scandal, which should have been a massive deal, when that happened, here's how you wrote it off and didn't allow conversation, honest conversation. You put out a video that says how the newest anti-Biden narrative was manufactured. And here's a description of that video. CNN's Brian Stelter analyzes the New York Post story on former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and explains why the anti-Biden narrative was manufactured. Manufactured. It was manufactured, guys. It was all BS and political hit job. None of that stuff in the emails matters. None of it. And your show name is Reliable Sources.
Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they?
The lack of self-awareness. These people are hacks. Number two. Before we get to the beautiful number one of this week, we have to go to number two and some more Joe Biden. Wear the mask, guys. Wear it. Follow the rules. Follow the protocols. Abide by the mandates, right? But Joe Biden, he doesn't have to do that. This is him.
This event has a mask, getting very close to the face of some woman right now, another woman right now. How can they square this behavior with their demands that the rest of us plebes cover our faces and the faces of our children?
And another clip. Coughing into his hand, not wearing the mask, and then going out and shaking people's hands. This is how not to lead by example. This is how to be a very bad leader. Number one, and on to number one. When you accumulate all of these examples of bad leadership, of horrible policies, the detachment from the average American and what they want for their families and their communities. And there were some big elections last week. The Virginia governor's race was one of them. And this is how Kamala Harris campaigned for the Democrat McAuliffe.
Because you see, what happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on.
And she's right. And it's not going to be good in 2022. if this trend continues, because this is what happened in Virginia. Republican Youngkin wins Virginia governor's race, along with a landslide shift to the Republican side for votes across the country. But this is what happens when you have bad leadership. Not every American is completely insane yet. So there is a glimmer of hope here. This is a good thing. The Republican Party has their own set of problems, but at this point, what's happening right now needs to change and change fast. And luckily, most Americans agree with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with this? Are you happy with the results of the elections last week? What do you think about Joe Biden out there on a world stage, embarrassing the entire country, falling asleep at conferences? This is insane. Let me know what you think down in the comments. While you're down there, please like this video. Please help me get it recommended to others. That's it for today's video. Until next time, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Education.
For the children.
Idiots.